As we grow older, the spaces we live in begin to affect our daily lives in more profound ways. A crowded room that once felt cozy can suddenly feel overwhelming, and items left on the floor or stacked too high may pose hidden dangers. Many seniors find themselves holding on to things they no longer use, either out of habit or sentiment. While these items carry memories, they can also create obstacles that increase the risk of tripping or falling. A single fall can lead to weeks or even months of recovery, making prevention an essential part of aging well. This is why minimalism, when approached with care, becomes not just a lifestyle choice but a health strategy. Decluttering is not about losing your past, but about making space for your future. When I first began to notice how clutter impacted my life, I realized it wasn't only about the mess. It was about safety and freedom. The hallways in my home had become narrow with old boxes, magazines, and decorations that served no real purpose. Navigating those spaces felt like walking through a maze, and I caught myself bumping into things more than once. The decision to let go of unnecessary objects brought an immediate sense of relief. The air felt lighter, the rooms felt larger, and moving around the house became effortless. I didn't feel like I was living inside a storage unit anymore, but in a space that supported me. That's when I understood how minimalism connects directly to fall prevention. Friends who visited after I decluttered often remarked at how peaceful my home felt. They noticed not just the open space, but also the calmer energy of the environment. With fewer distractions around, conversations felt warmer, meals felt more intentional, and the home became a place of rest rather than stress. A clutter-free environment does not just help the body, it helps the mind. Seniors often experience anxiety or unease when surrounded by too many objects. By creating order, we create peace. It's a gift to ourselves and to everyone who shares our living space. I often compare decluttering to gardening. You don't cut down a plant to destroy it. You trim and shape it so it can grow better. The same goes for our homes. Removing the unnecessary allows what's important to shine. A cherished photo on a clean wall means more than 100 trinkets stuffed on a dusty shelf. A clear table ready for tea with a friend holds more joy than a cluttered surface filled with unread papers. Through minimalism, we create space for meaningful experiences. And for seniors, those experiences matter more than ever. Most importantly, decluttering gives seniors back a sense of control. Aging often comes with physical limitations, and that can make us feel powerless. But choosing what to keep and what to release is an act of empowerment. It says, I decide how I want to live. That sense of agency builds confidence and reduces fear of accidents. Minimalism is not about stripping life bare. It is about making space for independence, safety, and joy. Clutter in the home does more than take up space. It actively increases the chances of falls and accidents. Small rugs that slide underfoot, stacks of magazines on the floor, and cords stretched across walkways are hazards waiting to cause harm. Seniors are especially vulnerable because balance, mobility, and reaction times change with age. Even a minor stumble can result in fractures or hospital visits. It is a risk that is too high to ignore. When we recognize clutter as a safety issue rather than simply a housekeeping issue, we begin to see the urgency of creating safer homes. I once visited a neighbor who had not changed her living space in 30 years. Every surface was filled with items, from old knickknacks to unopened mail. As she grew older, she had trouble navigating the piles, and eventually she tripped over a stack of books left near her bed. The fall left her with a broken hip and months of rehabilitation. That moment showed me how dangerous clutter can truly be. It is not just inconvenient, it is a silent risk that grows with every year we hold on to too much. Another often overlooked danger is emotional stress. Clutter can cause confusion and frustration, especially for seniors dealing with memory challenges. It becomes harder to find important items like medication, keys, or documents when they are buried under layers of things. This not only adds stress but can also lead to dangerous mistakes, like missing doses of medicine. By reducing clutter, we also reduce mental strain. An organized space supports clarity, memory, and peace of mind. Falls aren't the only accidents clutter can cause. Fire hazards increase when piles of old newspapers or unused appliances are left to gather dust. Blocked exits and narrow walkways can delay evacuation in emergencies. Even something as small as leaving shoes in the hallway can lead to a serious accident. Every item left lying around has the potential to harm, and that risk grows when mobility is reduced. When we look at clutter through this lens, decluttering becomes an act of protection, not just preference. Recognizing these dangers doesn't mean we have to strip everything away. Instead, it means being intentional. Keeping pathways clear, storing items safely, and letting go of objects that no longer serve us can make a tremendous difference. A minimalistic home doesn't mean a cold or empty one. It means a safe, welcoming environment where every item has a purpose. For seniors, that purpose should always include safety and comfort. One of the hardest parts of decluttering for seniors is the emotional weight attached to belongings. Many items are not just things. They are memories. A faded letter from a loved one, a vase gifted decades ago, or a sweater that brings back younger days. These objects carry the story of our lives. Letting them go can feel like letting go of the people and moments tied to them. This is why decluttering must be approached with compassion and patience. It is not simply about cleaning. It is about honoring the past while making space for the future. I remember holding on to boxes of my children's schoolwork long after they had grown up and left home. Every drawing, every paper felt like a piece of their childhood I couldn't bear to lose. But over time, those boxes filled an entire closet, leaving no room for my own needs. When I finally sat down with my children and looked through the items together, we kept a few meaningful pieces and let the rest go. It was hard at first, but I realized the memories were not in the paper. They were in my heart. That understanding made letting go easier. The process of decluttering becomes more meaningful when we share it with family or friends. Involving loved ones allows us to tell the stories behind our belongings before passing them on. It transforms what could feel like loss into an act of connection. Giving an item to someone who will cherish it ensures its story continues. In this way, letting go is not about erasing memories, but about giving them new life in someone else's hands. Another challenge is the fear of regret. Many seniors worry that once something is gone, they will need it later or feel empty without it. This is why starting small is important. Letting go of duplicate items, broken things, or objects with no real use builds confidence. Over time, the process becomes easier, and we realize that the space we gain is more valuable than the items we release. The freedom that comes with decluttering outweighs the temporary discomfort. Ultimately, letting go teaches us a deeper lesson about life itself. Just as we cannot hold on to every possession, we cannot hold on to every moment. Embracing change and making room for new experiences is part of aging gracefully. Decluttering, then, is not just about safety. It is a spiritual practice of acceptance. It reminds us that life is not about what we accumulate, but about what we experience and share. Decluttering can feel overwhelming at first, but with practical steps, the process becomes manageable. Start by focusing on the areas that impact safety the most: hallways, bathrooms, and kitchens. Clear pathways of any objects that may block movement. Remove small rugs that slide easily and replace them with slip-resistant mats. Store frequently used items within easy reach to avoid unnecessary bending or climbing. These small changes can significantly reduce the risk of falls and accidents. Another useful approach is the one room at a time method. Instead of trying to tackle the whole house in one day, dedicate time to a single room, sorting items into categories. Keep, donate, discard makes decisions easier. Setting aside just 30 minutes a day for decluttering can create real progress without exhaustion. Over time, the transformation becomes visible, and the home feels lighter and safer. Storage solutions also play a key role in creating a minimalistic home. Using labeled bins, shelves at reachable heights, and clear containers helps keep everything organized. Seniors benefit from knowing exactly where things are without having to search endlessly. It saves time, reduces stress, and makes daily life more efficient. Organization doesn't just make the home look neat, it makes it function better. One practical tip that helped me was the 2-year rule. If I hadn't used something in 2 years, I asked myself if I truly needed it. More often than not, the answer was no. By letting those items go, I created more room for what truly mattered. That rule became a guide for maintaining a clutter-free environment, preventing things from piling up again. Consistency is the secret to long-term minimalism. Finally, remember that decluttering doesn't have to be done alone. Asking for help from family, friends, or even professional organizers can make the process less stressful. Sharing the journey makes it more enjoyable and less daunting.